Chris Kelza here with
Matt Howell.
In this episode of The First Run, Matt and I caught up with Finding Dory, the latest sequel film from Pixar. Matt, I got to tell you, I've been concerned with these Pixar sequels, so we'll discuss that a little bit. We're going to tell you what our thoughts about Star Trek 2, possibly the biggest layup in the Star Trek franchise as our 50th anniversary marathon continues. And then, of course, it's fan favorite, as I say for every segment, Call It, where we have to make the tough decisions. Matt, I got one tonight. I don't think I can answer.
Really? Yeah, so you're going to put it to me? It's my Sophie's choice?
Pretty much.
Okay.
So we'll get into all that tonight on The First Run. But first, let's hear a little clip from Finding Dory.
Did you hear that?
What was that? Hear what?
Stan, I heard someone say hello.
Yeah, there's a lot of fish here. Anybody, literally anybody could have just said hello.
There.
Where am I looking?
There.
Oh.
Hi, I'm Dory.
Yeah, well, where are your parents?
Hi, I've lost my family.
Where did you see them last?
I forgot.
I was looking for something and Okay, totally get it. Date night. I suffer from short-term memory loss. It runs in my family. At least I think it does. Where are they?
Dory, there you are!
Guys!
Look out!
Oh, look at this.
Our friend got taken into whatever this place is.
It's a fish hospital.
I feel fantastic!
Dude. Name's Hank.
I have to find my family.
That's a hard one, kid.
Well, I guess you're stuck here.
You're not helping, Bill.
Okay, Matt. So everybody's familiar with Finding Nemo.
Mm-hmm.
This is when Nemo gets separated from his dad, and they go across the ocean to try and rescue young little Nemo. A very popular film, a great film by Pixar that inspired the collection and subsequent death of thousands of clownfish across this country. So, Matt, why don't you tell the kids at home, why don't you break down, what's Finding Dory, and how different is it from Finding Nemo?
So Finding Dory is, I believe it takes place, I don't know, a year later from Finding Nemo, and essentially one of the main characters in Finding Nemo is Dory, who is played by or voiced by Ellen DeGeneres, and she has a problem with her short-term memory, and she suddenly starts having flashes of memory about her family and her parents, and she decides that she needs to go home to find them, and of course, Marlin and Nemo chase after her because they don't think that she can, be on her own with her issue.
Sure. Okay, that works. I like that. So yeah. So Matt, as we said, Pixar I think has a spotty run with sequels. I think if you pull Toy Story out of that, right?
Right.
I don't think they're particularly strong. I'm looking at you, Cars.
Mm.
And I get. Is there been a second Planes movie?
Oh yeah, there has been.
I get the fact that you got to cash in once in a while to keep the lights on. But still, and I'm happy to report too that Pixar only has one sequel on its slate for the next few years.
Yeah.
So I think that's great news, and I think it's The Incredibles 2, right?
Right. Yes.
And if any of the Pixar films deserves a sequel, I think that at least that's built for a sequel, we should say. I think it would be The Incredibles. So
yeah.
That's good. So I don't know. What do you think? Does this have the sequel Cars jinx, or is this a worthy successor?
Well, I will say this. So Cars and Planes, and I'm kind of hard pressed again taking Toy Story out of the equation. What other Pixar sequels there are? I mean, those were built on pretty shaky foundations as it was. It's not like Cars or Planes was a very good top tier Pixar anyway. But I would say this is a decent sequel, but I think it's pretty unnecessary, and it really didn't really hold up to the original for me.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was solid. It was entertaining, but it wasn't. I don't know. It didn't hit like the original. The Finding Nemo I thought was great, and is upper up. I guess this is going to sound funny. Upper lower echelon Pixar. Right, it's not in my top 3 or 4, but it's right there, right?
Yeah.
So, and this is middle of the pack. But thankfully, it's not as bad as some of the other ones we've mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Still, it's not without its merits. I think the voice cast is really strong on this. Everybody is uniformly great. Ellen DeGeneres has a much more expanded role in this, obviously. and she does a fantastic job. The film itself is a lot of fun, but it really kind of just rehashes Finding Nemo for me. I just didn't find enough to keep me interested and enraptured the entire time. I mean, it's similar ground. It's still a bright, beautiful looking film, right? Lots of great colors. But all I can say is I'm just thankful the sequel train slows down next year.
Yeah.
And if I had to point out, too, is anybody I really liked, it was Ed O'Neill. He was the octopus guy as Hank. I really enjoyed him. And I always do this, too. I don't know if you're like me. When I'm watching all these films, I try and spot the voice actors. I'm like, all right, who is that? Who is that? All right, well, that's Idris Elba. That's definitely Idris Elba. That kind of thing. So anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I do the same thing. I mean, obviously, with all of the famous people cashing in on an easy role for voice acting, I always try and pick them out. And it's always, we watched the Secret Life of Pets, and I had a hard time figuring out who was who. I was like, I know who that is, but I had to wait till the credits. But I digress. Yeah, I'm with you. I think this really rehashes a lot of the same story beats. It doesn't have the kind of emotional heft that you would expect from Pixar films. I know a lot of people were, from what I can tell from what I've read on the internet, were moved by a lot of it. I guess maybe I'm just dead inside, but it just didn't have that same emotional impact like some of the things other Pixar movies have, like Finding Nemo, like the Toy Story films, especially the ending of the third one.
WALL-E, which is still my favorite.
The first 20 minutes of Up, which is just heartbreaking. It just didn't hit you in the feels. It's like, okay, I've seen this before. I don't really care that much about Dory anyway. It's fine. I mean, the animation, obviously, every time they release a film, it gets better and better, and it gets more and more impressive. But it's just, like you said, it's just something. We've seen it before and done better.
Yeah, I think that's the problem too. Yeah. And nothing was elevated for me here. So if we're gonna make a sequel and basically not do, I don't want to say just do the same thing, but it's basically what we're doing. I was hoping to get a little bit more. So I don't know. It was good. It was solid.
Yeah,
but that's the best I can say of it. So
yeah, I would say sticking with your metaphor before, or I would say this is probably upper echelon, lower tier Pixar.
So you have a young one. I'm assuming you brought her to the film?
I did. She enjoyed it. Although what was funny is that she had actually already seen it with her grandparents, so I made her come with me to go see it. And she didn't really want to go. I mean, she didn't seem like she was that into it. So it's not like it's something that will be on heavy rotation in this house. And, this is a girl who likes Monsters University. So that should tell you something right there.
Interesting. Yeah, you were avoiding what I did when I went to go see the Lego movie.
By yourself?
Yeah. It was me and a whole bunch of kids and moms. And it was a little, I'm sure everybody else was more worried about it than I was.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, I mean, the only other alternative for me would have been to go at like a late show, and I thought that would be even creepier, going to see a kids movie by yourself late at night.
I did see Finding Dory. I went to a 9:00 screening down here to go see it. I try and go late for that kind of stuff if I can. Anyway, there was a family there though, the really young kid, which I hate that. 9:00 showing with like a 3-year-old.
Right. That kid should be in bed.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so if you, what are you going to give it? So I feel like we've been stuck in a rut here with this letter grade, but I'm gonna give it a B, I guess, maybe even B-.
Yeah,
but
I'm
definitely
B-.
Yeah. All right, and I'd say too, I don't know if you really need to run out to the theater and see this one. I guess if you got a kid that needs that you need to occupy for a couple hours, then by all means. But yeah, and what'd you think of the opener, the short at the beginning of the film?
I thought it was okay. I mean, it looked gorgeous. I mean, the animation was great, but I mean, it just didn't. It was fine. It didn't do that much for me. What was it called? Piper or something like that. Yeah, it wasn't that great.
I liked it. I thought it was really cute. I really enjoyed it. I really like the opening shorts that they have. I got to say, the last one I saw, then I can't remember what film it was. With the Hawaiian island, the 2 islands, or the volcano.
Yeah.
I did not care for that one.
Did not care for that at all.
No. So keep that in mind for somebody. I have no idea. All right, Matt. So I I missed your message last week, so we can talk a little bit about it this week as we get into the Blu-ray and DVD picks. First off, the big release that came out today, July 19th, Batman vs. Superman. Includes a Blu-ray DVD Ultraviolet, no digital copy for iTunes, Dolby Atmos if you have the sound system for it. There is a Batman or Superman statue that you can get. I think that might be an Amazon exclusive. Target has a digibook with a lenticular cover. Best Buy has a steelbook with Batman on the front. Excuse me, Batman's on the back, I believe, and Superman's on the front. And there's also a graphic novel version which has the best battles that all three of them are in: Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. And Walmart has a specific digital copy file version thing. I don't know. So it's got a whole bunch of special features on it. And, of course, you have the opportunity to see the underrated cut of the film, Matt, coming in at 3 hours. I've watched it. I want you to watch it as well. I don't know if you want to commit 3 hours of your life to seeing this. I will tell you, in case we do, if we get into a deeper discussion about it, I will tell you that it's better.
Okay.
It doesn't elevate it to greatness. In fact, it makes me rethink my entire thoughts of the original version of the film.
Okay.
Meaning that I was really way too lenient on that thing.
Yeah.
But watching this is the version to watch. The rated R Ultimate Edition is the version to watch because things make more sense now.
Okay.
There's a lot of stuff that they cut out and there's also like some scenes that are actually longer in the theatrical version than they are in the uncut version. So that was weird. But there's a lot of stuff they cut out that makes things like the opening sequence when Superman rescues Lois. That's about 5 or 6 minutes longer, and it makes a lot more sense.
Okay.
At least the motivations as to why people are turning against him. You see more of the story. I mean, there's a lot of that in there.
Okay.
A lot of more stuff that just kind of cleans things up a little bit.
So this is gonna. You think this will elevate it from my low grade of a low C to your solid B, film?
No, I don't think so. It's still a crowded mess.
Yeah.
I'm much more, after seeing the ultimate cut, I'm much more comfortable with my B.
Yeah.
I would probably downgrade my other one, my original, then to like a B minus. So
wow.
I don't want to make myself sound like a total idiot since I labored so hard for it the first time through. But yeah, it's the version to watch. I would never watch the theatrical cut again.
Okay. Wow. All right.
So there you go, Matt. Miles Ahead, the not documentary, but the biopic about Miles Davis starring Don Cheadle's being released, includes a featurette, The Truth Becoming Miles Davis, and a Sundance Q&A as well with Don Cheadle, Ewan McGregor, and some other stars from the film. Another film that's full under the radar, Elvis and Nixon. This is the one with Michael Shannon is Elvis and Kevin Spacey plays Nixon. It's about them meeting. That's coming out as well. Includes audio commentary by the director. And then new to Blu-ray, Criterion has given us a bunch of stuff, Matt. They're giving us Muriel or The Time of the Return, A Touch of Zen, Night and Fog, all getting Blu-ray releases from Criterion this week. Arrow is giving us Crimes of Passion. If you're familiar with Ken Russell's work, Ken Russell, how do I describe this? is a provocateur. All right, he does really kind of racy, in-your-face kind of stuff. And some would consider maybe masterpiece, Crimes of Passion, is being released on Blu-ray by Arrow because an unrated version and an unrated director's cut version as well. Stars Kathleen Turner and Anthony Perkins, Norman Bates, if I have to typecast him. An all-new high-definition 2K restoration as well. Audio commentary by Russell. Some 7 deleted and extended scenes. It's a slimy, dirty little film. But if you're into that kind of thing, now's your chance to get the ultimate version of it. And then To Have and Have Not, Gang Related, and Hoodlum, all getting released on Blu-ray for the first time.
Okay.
Matt, you're straight to DVD pick of the week. I'm going to go with Precious Cargo.
Okay.
Because I have a question for you. Let me tell you, a crime boss tries to make off with the loot that belongs to another thief. That's your write-up.
Okay.
Starring Claire Forlani. Remember Claire Forlani?
The name rings a bell.
Okay.
What was she in?
She was in Mallrats. She was Brody's girlfriend, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I know
the one that's not Shannon Doherty.
Right. Yes.
Mark Paul Gosselaar.
Ooh! Wow. Zach.
Yes, and then a guy who I don't understand what is happening with his career. Bruce Willis.
Oh wow.
He's been
Bruce
doing.
Willis just likes to get paid, I guess.
He's
He'll
been
say
doing.
yes to anything.
I've seen this lately. He's been doing a lot of these kind of odd little foreign, low budget action movies lately. I think he's churning out like 2 or 3 a year. You know, I mean, fine, good for you. I just don't quite understand the appeal. What's going on? So I don't know. Anyway,
Hollywood stopped calling, man. He's got to go to Slovakia.
I guess so. He's got to get in the next Tarantino film again, I guess.
Yeah.
And I want to tell you one quick thing, too. It's not coming out for a little bit yet. I think it's September. But they released the full specs, Matt, for the Thing Collector's Edition. And this is going to come up a little later as well. But let me tell you, this thing is wrecked. It's a new 2-scan of the interpositive supervised by the director of photography, Dean Cundy, an all-new 4.1 audio mix, new commentary by Cudney, new audio commentary by co-producer Stuart Cohen, a new interview with John Carpenter. There's like hours of brand new special features on this thing. They've got back the Thing, the Terror Takes Shape, a documentary. It's like an hour and a half documentary in the making of the movie. It has the network TV broadcast version included in standard definition, which has alternate scenes and an alternate ending. It has some outtakes, 5 minutes worth. It has a whole ton of stuff in this thing. So I am really, really excited to pick this up.
Yeah. I can hear your erection from here.
I love that in Archer when you subtly hear whenever. Anyway. So there was like a special early release version with posters and cards, and so that thing sold out like in an hour. But the regular version is coming up, so you'll be able to check that out. And again, of course, I'm blanking on when the date is. I think it's sometime in September.
Okay.
So it's September 20th. There it is. So anyway, that's it, Matt. So talk to me. I think you have some streaming picks for us.
Yeah. So Netflix released a new series called Stranger Things. Have you had a chance to check it out yet, Chris?
Not yet, no.
Okay. Well, this is an 8-episode series, about halfway through. It's really kind of this homage to kind of Spielberg 80s ET type films, but then with kind of a Stephen King horror bent to it. It's about 3 kids, or a group of 4 friends who are young boys, kind of nerds. One of them disappears under mysterious circumstances. I don't think I'm spoiling anything that there's something otherworldly or supernatural involved. And really it's all about them trying to find him and, the way the town reacts. For children of the 80s like us who, kind of grew up in these type of films, it's something that I think you would really enjoy. It pays a lot of homage to that kind of stuff. So if you're into that kind of stuff, but even if you're not, it's really well done. The acting's good, even from the child actors. The photography and the scene, as far as the setting is pitch perfect. And it's really just got a good air of menace, and it's actually pretty scary. So definitely worth checking out. Yeah,
I got to pop that sucker into my queue, and it's got Winona Ryder.
It does have Winona Ryder, yes.
You can't really go wrong with Winona
And
Ryder.
Matthew Modine.
Ooh, yeah, there's a name that always makes me want to watch something right away. Yeah. But yeah, I got to check it out. It's supposed to be pretty good. I like Winona Ryder, god damn it.
Okay.
Don't you dare disrespect Winona Ryder. Matt, let's take a break.
Okay,
let's hear a clip from one of the greatest science fiction films, if not one of the greatest movies of all time. He said with just a dash of hyperbole. Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. Let's take a listen.
They're requesting communication, sir.
Let them eat static.
They're still running with shields down.
Of course, we are one big happy fleet. Ah, Kirk, my old friend. Do you know the Klingon proverb that tells us revenge is a dish that is best served cold? It is very cold in space.
All right, Matt. It's been a couple years. Your franchise had a little bit of a misstep. It finally got to the big screen, and it was an incessantly dull film that cost a lot of money to make. It made a lot of money. It did okay, but you know what? If we're gonna make a sequel, we're gonna need to trim a few things. And oh, by the way, Matt, a quick little who dat on the fly. You're Gene Roddenberry. They say they want to make a sequel with your characters, but they say, you know what, Gene, you're out. You can be listed as a producer, but you're out. So what do you say to the folks at Paramount?
Oh boy. I say, if I'm Gene Roddenberry and full of myself, I say you will regret this, and the film will not be the same without my input. But yes, go ahead and list me as a producer credit, because it's the least you could do.
And it was a good thing you did, because you got your name involved in the greatest Star Trek film of all. The film responsible for reviving the franchise. The Star Trek Next Generation, Matt, would not exist if not for Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan.
Really?
All right, let's be clear. Star Trek Deep Space 32, whatever it is. I know what it is. I'm just kidding. What else? What's the other ones? There's Enterprise, Voyager,
Enterprise, yeah.
Sure, whatever it is. You know what? I watched like the first couple seasons of Next Generation, and I kind of moved on because I discovered the ladies.
So what's holding you back now?
Granted, I was like 20 at the time, so it took me a little while. But no, I just never got into it. I don't know what it was. Either way, for me, Star Trek's always been Kirk. That's been the key for me. You know, that was my hesitancy with the relaunch too. Are they going to be able to capture that dynamic again? Either way, let's get back to the point at hand. Star Trek 2. It's, as I said, it's the layup. It's the best in the series. I really have trouble. So I tried to do, Matt, is I actually watched the theatrical version a few weeks ago just to watch it. This is one of those films that just pops into my rotation every year. There's this, there's Rope, there's Brick, Drive. There's a few films that, you know, I just watch them every year.
Right.
So I'd watched the theatrical cut. So for the show, I watched the director's cut. And I watched it I focused, and you know what, Chris, you love it so much. Why don't you just try watching it for flaws? See if we can find some errors, some mistakes, some things that just don't work. And I actually found problems, Matt, with the director's cut itself.
Okay. The
director's cut does some really interesting things if you haven't seen it. Have you seen the director's cut?
I have not seen the director's cut.
All right, for a couple things. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself, Matt. In case anybody doesn't know, I can't wrap my head around that. Why don't you tell people generally what is the plot of Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan?
Okay, so the plot of Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. So Kirk comes back to the Enterprise, brings McCoy along for some reason for a training cruise that Spock is leading, and then we find out that Chekhov, he is searching for a planet to use something called the Genesis device, which basically is a scientific breakthrough that will be able to them to basically instantly terraform a planet. And while they're looking for a planet to terraform, they land on a planet, and it happens to be the planet that they left Khan on back from the original series. And unfortunately, it's gone to hell, and he blames Kirk for leaving him there and the death of his wife and comrades, and he steals the Chekhov ship and goes and gets revenge.
There you go. So it's basically, as I say, I think the big success for this film, and I think I've talked about this on the show before, it's Horatio Hornblower in space. All right, it's a big naval adventure film. I think that's why it's so successful. Never mind the fact that we get out of all the weird skin-tight pants and clothes and the belt buckles with no belts, as you pointed out last week. We're able to put the 70s behind, and it doesn't scream 80s either, which I think is another success by Nicholas Meyer as the director. So the director's cut adds a few things. First off, one of the big things that always seemed kind of weird when you're watching the theatrical version, Matt, right, is why Scotty shows up on the bridge holding that guy, and why is that guy so important?
Right.
Well, it's Scotty's nephew, and that is revealed in the director's cut.
Okay.
All right, and it does add some emotional heft to that whole thing. Why they cut that out, I do not know.
Right.
That out of all the cuts that were made, that's the one that makes the least amount of sense to me. There's a couple other ones when they're actually in the medical bay over the kid's body, and they're talking about, well, what's this about? Why is he after you? And there's a conversation between Kirk and then McCoy's there. So that drags. That was smartly cut. And it also it undermines the death of Scotty's nephew.
Okay.
Because Kirk is almost kind of like, just the conversation he has, it's kind of like, hey, what are you going to do? You know, he wants me because he blames for something. Hey, it's not my fault, whatever, you know,
right.
Hey, sorry your nephew's dead. You know, that's kind of how it comes across. So I'm glad they cut that out. Another couple things, too, that they did, which I think is interesting to save time. Did you catch any of them? Because you just watched the motion picture a week ago.
Right.
Did you see any of the things that they did to save money?
Well, there's basically only 2 ships. They don't really go on any planets. I think they reuse some of the models.
They actually reuse some of the exact shots.
Okay.
The Enterprise leaving the docking thing. Clearing the moors. That's actually, I think, just a reverse angle from motion picture. It's exactly the same shot.
Okay.
And then Regular One, is a flipped version of the space station from motion picture.
Yes.
They just inverted it basically.
Yes.
So that's kind of what they did. They took the uniforms too from them and they just dyed them all red. I mean, they did a lot of stuff to kind of just save money because they said, listen, you can make this film, but we're going to give you like a quarter of the budget, man. They made this thing on basically $11 million.
Wow, that's crazy.
And the first one cost 46.
Wow. So
anyway, those are kind of one of the funny another weird little fun piece of trivia. The Reliant is upside down.
Is it?
When they originally designed it, it was going to be the other way.
Oh, okay.
And then they're looking at, I guess the guy presented him the guy who was, I don't know if it was Nicholas Meyer, it may have been, reviewing the model, the sketches. And he was looking at it upside down without realizing it. So that's really great. Let's go with that. And they said, actually, that's upside down.
He's like, no, I like it better that way.
Well, yeah, they stuck with it the other way.
Yeah.
So anyway, a little bit of trivia for you. So Matt, let me ask you, so that's it. Like I said, I want to try and find flaws. I really didn't. It's the most human out of all the films. The death of Spock is so perfectly foreshadowed at the beginning of the film. But it hits you, right? I remember the first time I watched this, I was devastated. It's so well done by Nicholas Meyer, how they do that. For a science fiction kind of Star Trek geek, Matt, it's a perfect film. Yeah. I really can't find any real flaws. And the MVP really, and I'll let you talk obviously in a moment. The MVP film really for me is Ricardo Montalban.
Ricardo Montalban, all real. He swears it was all real.
That's it. No plastic chest on that man, my friend. No. He is just devouring the scenery in that film. He's what makes that film move. Yeah. He's one that inserts the life, you know? So it's fantastic. And like you said I don't want to step on you probably. Like you said last week, we'll lead into you for this. I sound like Chris Matthews right now, and I'm telling you what you're going to talk about.
You're probably right, though.
One of the big things you pointed out last week with Star Trek Motion Picture is that nobody really acts in that film. Nobody really performs. So how'd you feel? Did you get what you were looking for this time?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think really why this film works so well is because it's so lean, and they were really forced to stick with something simple. Even if you weren't a Star Trek fan, you could grasp what was going on very quickly. There wasn't a lot of exposition. And really, I think the key is they managed to bring that chemistry between the cast back. I mean, Kirk has kind of got his little bit of to steal a phrase from the Lego movie, he's like a bon vivant in space again. He's not the kind of humorless admiral that he was in the first one. Spock has still kind of got his slide bits of humanity that he lets show through, which was completely absent in the first film. And even McCoy is, he's kind of more the irascible old doctor that you've come to love. So that core is really what makes or breaks these films. And, obviously everybody was firing on cylinders, in this film. And just even, the way they pace the action scenes, it's all very kind of tactical. And like you said, tall ships in space kind of thing, but it works. It just really works. And honestly, there's not like a wasted frame in that film, and it's excellent.
Yeah, I agree entirely. I love that voice, and I love the ship battles in this. I don't think it's ever been improved upon in any of the Star Trek films. It's easily my favorite. Oh, one more thing of reuse, Matt. I almost forgot. The Klingon warships from the Kobayashi Maru are it's the same shot of the Klingon warships from the beginning of the Star Trek.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, there you go. Hey, man, you gotta make your cuts where you can, and they made the right ones.
That's right. They certainly did.
And we got the beauty. This is the first time we got the beauty of Shatner walking around with his jacket flap open, which you're going to see a lot of as we progress through the rest of this marathon here.
I still don't understand if somebody could let us know at feedback@thefirstrun.com the point of that. Listen, it looks cool. I like it. I've always wanted one of those jackets. My birthday's coming up in a few days. But still, I never quite understood the point of it. I guess you know why? It's because you can loosen it up, and then you can get the ensign's blood on it, and it
really shows. Yeah, it really shows. Yeah, I mean, look, up all Admiral business. Boom, bring on the green ladies. That's all it is. That's what it is.
I think you're entirely right. So, one more thing too, Matt. James Horner's score. This is his first film that he worked on. He may have done some other work, but this is his first like big kind of movie, and he absolutely knocks it out of the park on this. This is also one of my all-time favorite scores. I used to have it on vinyl, Matt. I think I've told the story before. And I would sit in my dad's recliner and reenact the film with the music playing in the background, like I was Captain Kirk.
Wow.
Hey, this came out in 82, so say it was on VHS in 83. That puts me at a robust 8.
There you go. We'll cut you some slack.
Thank you very much. All right, Matt. So, still, I think I know. That's a good question, Matt. You've seen all 6 films, right?
Oh yes.
Okay.
But I mean, I've only, like I told you at the beginning of this thing, the only ones I ever really revisit with any regularity is 2 and 6, which I think are the best ones.
I agree as well. We'll see if that holds by the end of this marathon. I don't see why it wouldn't. So if we'd love to hear your thoughts, just an email, feedback@thefirstrun.com. I think this was this was the easiest one. It's Star Trek 2. You know, it's one of those things like what Drive is in my pantheon. Well, I'm not allowed to talk about it anymore. You could almost have to put this in the pantheon, even if you're talking about Star Trek movies. Anyway. All right, Matt, let's take another break, come back, and let's do it. Let's get a little call it action all up in this bizarre house thing. We'll be back.
Can you blush?
Here we go, Bobby.
Oh, I get it. I see now. You've been training for 2 years to take me out. And now here I am. Ooh, it's exciting, isn't it? Okay, here's your chance. Come on, what are you waiting for? Here I am, right in front of you. Go ahead. Adolf here gets the first shot. Come on, what are you looking at her for? You need permission? Or maybe you need a little bit of incentive, huh? Okay, I help you with that. What's the matter? You miss that? It's okay, I can do it again.
Dobre, Reinhardt. Dobre.
Come on. Well, you need a manual?
Fucking do
it! Come on! MC Hall! Now you got an explosive device stuck to the back of your hand. Silver nitrate. Rigged to go off if anybody tampers with it. I'll have the detonator with me. And you so much as look at me wrong.
All right, Matt, I went a little crazy with the call-it. You were nice enough to message me and ask me, Chris, I know you get a little angry sometimes if things aren't right. How many call-it examples do we do? Now, we do this across the board for everything for the most part, outside of top 5s, of course. It's 3, Matt. It's 3 entries.
Okay.
All right. Now, I have 5.
Okay.
So I don't know what it is. I just got my problem. Sometimes you struggle, especially when you've been doing a show for 312 episodes. We've probably done 50 call-its, maybe.
Yeah. It gets tough. think it's tough. In fact, I think I may have even asked one of my colleagues before. I can't be 100% sure.
So I have a bunch. We don't have to go through them all. Maybe we will. Man, I'm going to start off nice and easy for you. Ready?
Okay.
And if you're not, for the kids at home, call it is we're presented with two options, and we have to choose one. The other one goes away forever, as if it never. You can't really say it never existed because sometimes there's sequel talk, so that doesn't really work. But the other one goes away forever. So Matt, easy one. We're going to ease in everything for everybody, right? Pick your Cloverfield.
Pick my Cloverfield. That's
Cloverfield or 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Well, I think 3/4 of 10 Cloverfield Lane is probably the better movie. I still would think I'm going to watch Cloverfield the original more often, just because I think it's fun. So I'm going to pick Cloverfield the original.
I'm on the fence on this. I still haven't made an entire decision. This is not the one I was talking about the opening of the show, though.
Okay.
That's my problem. Is I absolutely love the first 2/3, 3/4 of 10 Cloverfield Lane with John Goodman and Mary Jane.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead. I was going to Mary Jane Watson.
She's not even real, Chris.
In my dreams, she is. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and then what's his name? John Gallagher.
Yes.
I love the first part of that film. It's fantastic. So I want to watch it. I want to choose just because of that. And plus, I don't know where I am on the fence. I'm on the fence now about what do you call them there? The shaky cam videos.
Oh
right?
yeah, the first person perspective things.
Yeah, I don't know where I am anymore on that. Listen, there's definitely better performances in Cloverfield Lane. Yeah. I don't think there's any question about that. And you get to see John Goodman as a creepy guy. I'm in the seats for that too. So if I had to choose one or the other, though, Cloverfield's so nihilistic, though. You know, it's and Lizzie Kaplan's in it before Lizzie Kaplan was really Lizzie Kaplan. Yeah, I'll go with the original. It kills me to say that because I love Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She's out of everybody in all of these films. Yeah, she's probably my favorite actor, next with John Goodman. But just for the sheer experience of the first film, how terrifying that subway scene was. Yeah, I'll go with the first one. All right, I'm gonna regret that decision, I think, but I'm gonna go with it now. Yeah, because we can't we can't do the show forever. All right, what do you got?
All right, so this week we reviewed a subpar sequel, and we started talking about how you were kind of nervous about the upcoming Pixar sequels. Next week, we're going to talk about a very contentious remake. So, Chris, got to pick one. You can either have no more sequels, you can have no more remakes. Which one is it?
Ooh. You know, I got to tell you, actually, this is pretty easy. I think you got to go no more remakes.
Okay.
I don't even have to think about it.
No.
It's no more remakes. I'd rather because if I get no sequels, I don't get The Dark Knight. I don't get
Star Trek 2.
Yeah, I don't get Star Trek 2. I don't get I don't get Attack of the Clones. I don't get
yeah, well that's what I mean. Then you start thinking, okay, then you don't get Rambo 3. You don't get Terminator 3.
Hey, that fourth Rambo movie is actually pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I don't have to think about it. No remakes can go away. I'm trying to think. Is there any remakes that are better than the original films?
Well, I kind of want to save that for an inventory for next week.
Oh, okay. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you?
Yeah, I think I would much prefer to see sequels to things, even if they're much later and kind of like distant cousin, sequels, than remakes. I think remakes are just we've been pretty underwhelmed by most remakes. Like you said, I think it's going to be tough coming up with an inventory of 5 of ones that we actually think are as good or better than the original film.
Yeah, I don't know about that. All right. Well, I'm glad that you agree with me. Matt, call it.
All right.
What is the best English language Guillermo del Toro film? You want to know what they are? I can tell you.
Yeah, list them all off just because I just want to make sure I'm not forgetting anything.
Because I picked this because I know you watched Crimson Peak, and I wanted to get your thoughts on that. So, Blade 2, Hellboy.
Okay.
Hellboy Part 2.
Okay.
Pacific Rim.
Yep.
Crimson Peak.
Oh,
and Mimic. I forgot Mimic. Excuse me. Sorry, Guillermo. Mimic.
I'm gonna say my favorite is I'm gonna say Hellboy was probably my favorite. I enjoyed Pacific Rim a lot, but I mean, it's got some serious flaws to it. But when it's fun, it's really fun. But I think I'm gonna say Hellboy is the best of his English language films. I think that's the most solid from beginning to end.
Yeah, years ago, I probably would have said Blade 2. There was a point when I really, really liked Blade 2.
I remember. We talked about it at length at the show years ago.
Did I?
Yeah.
A problem with Pacific Rim is you have a very uncharismatic star. Charlie Hunnam. I'm sorry. I don't get it. I don't get it.
No.
So, but I like Pacific Rim too. But I feel that film doesn't have any real star power for me.
No.
The most watchable guy too is Idris Elba, and even he's kind of dull in the film. So I think that's the problem. When the not robots, but armor suits, whatever they are.
Yeah.
When they're fighting the kaiju, I mean, it's an awesome film. And oddly enough, that film actually, for me, works better on a small screen. Because it's easier to follow it. I felt it was easier to follow the action that way.
Shows you're getting old, Chris.
I think so. And I like Crimson Peak too. I felt I think I talked about it on the show. I may not have. But what are your thoughts? Because I know you just recently caught up with it.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, it was it was a good kind of gothic horror film. It was something, very different than what I think people were expecting. I think they were expecting kind of something really off the wall, bloody film. But I mean, it's kind of got a, central mystery, subdued acting for the most part. Kind of, plays a lot with characterization. And like I said, it's really a gothic horror film. It's something that, Mary Shelley could have written.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's I think why I was initially let down, because the way I was reading about it, right? They're saying how it was going to be a hard R, and he was fighting to keep it an R-rated film. And I don't see R.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from. Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess I'm just desensitized from watching all those Fulci and Argento films.
I guess so. When you were 12 years old.
That's right.
It changed you.
So what do you got?
All right, so this is a layup, Chris. I already know what your answer is going to be, but I'm going to ask it anyway, okay? You get to keep the originals. Anything that exists from, let's say, pre-2009, you get to keep, okay? But two biggest space franchises around.
No, don't do it to me.
No new Star Trek or no new Star Wars.
No new Star Trek.
No new Star Trek?
Yeah. I like the new series. We're going to talk about next week's Ghostbusters. After that, though, it's Star Trek Beyond.
Yes.
Which has stellar ratings right now, which I did not anticipate. So,
which is weird because a lot of the geeky sites where I look at movies and stuff, they've been kind of underwhelmed by it.
Right now, 93% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Which is just, I'm shocked by that.
Me too.
I was really nervous this was going to be a big step down. And this is not just, this is not all just, what do you call it, the genre sites either.
Right.
I mean, these are legit AP, Right. This is big stuff. So impressive. Good job, Justin Lin. Anyway, so do I want no more sequels? Yeah, no, because for me, Star Trek's, it's William Shatner. It's Leonard Nimoy. It's DeForest Kelly. 2/3 of them have passed.
Right.
So I'd rather see, and then that's the other thing too, is that Star Trek's core is those three characters.
Right.
I mean, well, and the rest of the crew. And you'd have to just keep recasting. But with Star Wars, we can just grow.
Right. We can just keep going.
So there you go.
I'm with you. I mean, it's not even a contest for me. As much as I love Star Trek, and I've watched a lot more Star Trek than you have, and I love that whole universe. But I would definitely stick with new Star Wars. I mean, as much as I was burned, like I was burned so bad, like it was like a an unfaithful lover when those first three came out, those prequels came out, but the new one and what they've got coming on and what I've seen, obviously I may get fatigued after a little while, but right now it's like it's like a kid on prom night again. I have to see it all. So it's definitely get rid of this new Star Trek. But I have a question. What did you think I was going to ask you? You said don't do it to me. What did you think I was going to ask you?
Just the franchises in general.
Oh, okay.
As if one never existed.
Oh, okay.
I had to choose one of the two.
Well, that's not fair. You can't do that.
Yeah, no. I appreciate your restraint.
Yeah.
So let's see. I have 3 more, but for the interest of brevity, I want to pocket one for another time.
Okay.
And I will ask you in tradition with your Star Wars, then call it, Matt. Kylo Ren or Darth Maul?
Jeez.
Initially, I thought it was a great one. Then after I thought about it just now, I'm like, actually, this is a pretty easy one for me.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would keep Darth Maul. I mean, Kylo Ren looks a lot cooler, but he's pretty emo, and we'll have to see where we go with this. Yeah, so I guess I could have said to see more Darth Maul and instead of getting more Kylo Ren.
I guess it's a different conversation. I feel that I think Darth Maul looked cooler.
Yeah.
But for me, I have no doubt that I'd rather have Kylo Ren around more. I think it was a much better performance. There was more to do.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really lay that at the hands of Ray Park. The fact that Darth Maul didn't really do much outside of kick a couple Jedi's asses until he gets cut in half.
Yeah.
But still, I just I think it's a layup for me. It's Kylo Ren all the way. It's a much more fully faceted, in-depth character than Darth Maul, which is just a force.
A force.
Pardon.
A force to be reckoned with.
Yes.
But that was a layup. Come on, dude.
Yeah. All right. So I'll give you then the last one. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
At this exact moment, I don't know how to answer this.
Well, wait a minute. I have 3. I came up with 3 like you told me to.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Go ahead.
Right,
what do you got?
Yeah. All right. So 2 years ago, we got an American Godzilla, and we've got a Japanese Godzilla. They're saying, hold on, America. We know how to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So call it. Either America can never make another Godzilla film, or Japan can't. Which one is it?
I got to go us.
Yeah.
I gotta go. I'd rather have a Japanese Godzilla movies till the end of time. I grew up on those things. I grew up in Connecticut. Channel 56, which is out of Boston, every Saturday morning would run Godzilla movies. And Mothra and was it Girdra?
Yeah, that sounds.
The 3-headed one that looked like a dragon.
Yeah,
it's been a while. So anyway, I loved all those when I was a kid. So you know what? And I'm not gonna. It's so typically American too that we would just take it over. So I'll let it be, and I think it's better in the hands of the Japanese. And plus, Matt, have you ever seen the original?
Of course.
Original.
Of course. Yes, of course.
There's a lot going on in that film. It's not just a monster movie. Listen, folks, there's a reason why Criterion released a version of Godzilla on Blu-ray. All right, watch the original version with the Japanese, language with the updated subtitles. There's a lot more going on in that film than just Godzilla knocking down buildings. So,
yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I'm with you. I was actually in the same boat, believe it or not. I grew up on Godzilla movies too. I had tapes and tapes and tapes of them, and I used to watch them forever. I even had the classic Godzilla versus Megalon, which is also one of those classic MST3K hard to find episodes. But as much as I like the kind of American slick, action scenes that they brought to some of these Godzilla films that they've made. I guess you can't. It's a Japanese thing. You can't take it away. Although the new one, I'm a little nervous. Not that I'm not going to run out and see it, but I'm a little nervous because they show Godzilla stomping through Tokyo again. Somebody literally described it as it looks like a guy on a rubber suit being pushed along on a Segway because he's just doing this as he walks through with his tail flopping around in the back. I mean, it's unbearably cheesy, and they're trying to be super serious about it, and like all the military stuff and computer graphics around it, but it's still like a dude in a suit that they made look giant, and it's just, I guess it just comes with the territory.
Well, that's part of the charm, isn't it? Having him just being the guy in the big rubber suit.
Yeah.
Listen, I love that that US remake though, the new one with was it Gareth Edwards? I really liked it, even though the stuff with not Aaron Carter.
Taylor
he's
Johnson.
He's a singer. He's a singer, yeah. That stuff, that whole subplot with him, that absolutely just that's like a shameful performance. And that whole subplot needs to be wiped out. But the rest of it I absolutely loved. So
yeah. I mean, it's got its flaws, but Godzilla looked pretty badass, and those battles and those monster fights are pretty badass too.
He was a little husky, but you know, it's the American Godzilla, right? So.
He's been eating Big Macs, man. What do you want?
That's right. All right, I almost jumped the gun, Matt, but I have it for you now. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
At this moment, I still don't know how to answer this.
Okay.
Call it. One Goes Away Forever.
Oh boy. The
Shining or The Thing?
Not even a contest. And actually, I think you think this is a
Really?
harder Sophie choice for me. I definitely would get rid of The Shining.
You would.
I would. The Thing is one of the greatest horror movies ever put to celluloid. I mean, John Carpenter has had a very spotty career, but that guy had one flash of brilliance, and this is it. Stanley Kubrick has lots of great films, and The Shining for me, you know, as iconic as it is, you know, I still think I don't completely buy Jack Nicholson the whole time, and it's kind of insanity. But yeah, I would definitely keep The Thing over The Shining for sure.
Wow, I'm surprised it's that easy for you. I think it's a fair point too. And that's what Stephen King's big complaint about The Shining. It's not just the stuff Kubrick changed, but the casting of Nicholson.
Yeah,
that he wanted somebody much more, I don't know, calm or unassuming to then watch the progression of the insanity. Where Nicholson off the bat looks a little off.
Yeah.
So I think that's fair. I don't know, man. I mean, The Shining is a hypnotic film, and there's this creepiness that creeps in. Boy, that's poor alliteration. That from the very beginning, as the car is winding up the mountain, and the music is coming up, the score is coming up from Wendy Carlos. It infests you from the very beginning, and you're just uneasy the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So, man,
Chris, come on, let me put it this way. You know what one of those films that you watch every year is The Thing. How often do you watch The Shining?
Every 2 or 3 years, I watch The Shining.
Okay. But not every year.
No, that's true. I don't. So I guess in the end, it would be The Thing is what I would keep. It is I agree with you. It is my favorite horror film for me. But that's the problem. It goes Thing, Shining, and then I get a little muddy with The Exorcist or the original Evil Dead, Suspiria. Then I get into the foreign stuff. Either way, yeah, I guess I got to go with The Thing. You're right, though. It is John Carpenter's best film. Well, it's Halloween. Listen, folks, Halloween is not his best film. It's The Thing. Hands down, without a doubt. He caught lightning in a bottle in that film. It is perfect from beginning to end.
It is.
So...
And not to say, folks, that, I mean, as I'm burning all the copies of The Shining, I would be sad about it, and I would be conflicted. But, at the end of the day, I mean, I think the world would just be a better place with The Thing.
Yeah, that's wow. John Carpenter's got to be happy to hear that somebody chose one of his films over Stanley Kubrick's film.
Somebody's going to shoot him a tweet. You can shoot him a tweet. Carpenter, you gotta get on this Kubrick hangout right now. These two bearded dudes are talking about how you're better than Kubrick.
That's right. That's what I did. I totally just dismissed everything in Kubrick's. Yeah, I would watch Assault on Precinct 13 over Dr. Strangelove any day of the week.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not true. Okay, all right. So, I don't know. We may have angered some people out there. Shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. Let us know your thoughts. What do you keep, The Shining or The Thing? Who's better, Kylo Ren or Darth Maul? Pick your Cloverfield. Matt, I'm going to tease it. I want you to answer it. And then I'm sure by the time we get to the next call, I will forget. But the one I didn't bring up was, what is the best Clint Eastwood directed film that he did not star in? So think on that for the future.
Okay.
All right, Matt. So next week, it's going to be Ghostbusters. Matt, I am so angry right now, but not because of what you may think.
Okay.
Have you seen what happened to Leslie Jones on Twitter?
I did not look because I didn't want to lose more faith in humanity, but I have seen the headlines.
Well, I want to drop so many F-bombs right now. I am so tired of these just anonymous Twitter trolls out here. Just some of the most vile, racist things I have seen posted to her. It's disgusting. So I don't know. It sours me on humanity sometimes reading some of that stuff. Was it Howard Stern that they should make the internet totally you can't be anonymous anymore?
Yeah.
Everything you post has to have your name and picture to it. I wonder if that would have changed anything at all. But of course, that would also change a lot of your viewing habits on the internet, I'm sure.
Just mine, right, Chris?
That's right. That is right. So we'll talk about Ghostbusters next week, Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock as well. Following that, of course, it'll be a fun double feature. We have to do a big Star Trek episode, Matt, because it'll be Star Trek Beyond and Star Trek 4.
Yeah.
The Voyage Home. So that'll be a big, big episode. I'm looking forward to that one. In the meantime, look us up on Facebook and Twitter. We're on YouTube as well and Instagram. Do a search for The First Run. Matt, did you see my most recent Instagram post? Do you see what Netflix sent me?
No, what did they send you?
Netflix sent me a notification that Fighting, Channing Tatum's one of his first big films, is now on Netflix.
Okay.
Even Netflix is behind the Tatum line. They're on board with the Tatum line. So there you go.
You coined the phrase, man. You should really copyright that. That's going to be a thing.
I'm trying. I'm pushing it. Feedback at thefirstrun.com. Shoot us an email. We're going to take an extended break. Matt, my quote for you this week. Are you ready? See if you can name the film. It's a tough one. E.T. Phone Home.
Mac and Me. That's from Mac and Me, right?
That is it, exactly. Congratulations. I didn't think you were going to get that one. We're going to take an extended break. We'll see everybody in a week.
Bye.
You're letting him kill Martha.
What does that mean? Why did you say that name?
Find him. Save Martha.